as I mentioned before, e-prescriptions, and I think I see her in the queue. So I think I will bring her on, but I would be remiss if I didn't give her a nice, warm, welcome introduction. How I met this person, believe it or not, was through a connection of her husband on Facebook, because there's a lot of great things happening on Long Island, in the area of Westbury, if you even want to call it Westbury, I guess so, at NXGen Athletics Training Center. So I happened to be taking my daughter and son there for basketball lessons, wound up meeting her husband, wound up finally connecting the dots, and I had an awkward, I guess the first time we met was kind of awkward because I called her by the wrong first name. But without further ado, I want to introduce Dr. Michele Reed. Dr. Michele, how you doing?
I am so fine. Thank you very much, Mr. Hicks. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to contain my laughter.
Yeah. I tell you this much. There's something, because that Facebook application is something, because someone just texted me and said, the doctor runs with my wife, Linda, as part of Black Girls Run. I said, wow.
That's true. You're talking about technology, so it's the world of social media and everyone being connected.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yes.
Just as easy as that. I want to tell you, like I said, there couldn't have been more of an awkward introduction between you and I, because I think I said Diane.
Yes. That is exactly what you said. And you were very adamant that my name was Diane and I was married to Scott.
And you were like, and you are? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I know who you are. I need to meet with you because you're doing a lot of great things in the community, Dr. Michele. Happy to have you here. I was supposed to start off this segment about the last time I visited the doctor's office, which was in January, and I was getting a prescription renewed. And so I was expected to, have a physical paper prescription in my hand. I would walk out, drive to Walgreens, and then they would tell me, hey, it'll be 30 minutes or 90 minutes. But something new, something different happened, and I was kind of taken back because the doctor didn't really explain it to me, or I didn't understand it. But he said, no, there's no physical script that's going to be in your hand. And I said, are you sure, Doc? Has something changed? What's new? But tell us, not just myself, but the listeners from Late Night Parents, what's happening with e-prescriptions, and even before that, tell us about yourself.
Okay. So my name is Dr. Michele Reed. I am a board-certified family practice physician. So that means I take care of the entire family from birth all the way into geriatrics. My special focus, though, is disease prevention. I am very much a big proponent of that because I realize that so many of these diseases that we have, ranging from obesity, where there's 75% of Americans that are considered not at a healthy weight, to high blood pressure, to diabetes, to high cholesterol, all of these diseases could be prevented if we started to really focus more on prevention as opposed to the treatment and pushing drugs. So I do prescribe medicine if we do need that to happen, but my major prescription that I love to give my patients is to change your lifestyle and to make a major change, because the further down the line, these are the problems that we don't want to happen to you. Now, and that sort of leads into, I guess, with me being a physician, I grew up on Long Island. All of my education has been on Long Island. That's from elementary all the way to medical school. I ventured into Queens to do my residency in family medicine, and really there, that's where I saw that we are truly lacking in getting access to care and basically just following through with the care that we need to have. So 2 years after residency, I started a practice with a location in Rosedale, Queens, and eventually we ventured out to Garden City Long Island as the second location. And maybe I think it was like in the I think it was like around 2005, 2006, I was approached by a good friend who was working for an agency, and she was telling me about getting the electronic medical record so we can connect the offices and we didn't have to worry about the paper charts. And she was a good person, good character, so I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and follow her lead. And so we were basically one of the first practices in Queens that started with the electronic medical records, and that was back in 2008. And right off the bat, we started sending prescription electronically. And the purpose of doing that is, one, you don't have to worry about prescription error. So if the pharmacist is trying to fill the prescription, they're making sure that they actually know the proper name and dosage of the medicine, so they will therefore eliminate an error. But at the same time, taking into consideration if a patient is sick, there's no reason why they have to make two trips to the pharmacy, one to drop off the prescription, and then the second one is to return to pick it up. So that's something that we had started right back from the beginning, like I said, in 2008. But as of the end of March, New York State has a law where everyone, as far as all the physicians, have to use electronic prescriptions. And not everyone has the electronic medical records either. So it's a little bit of a push now for people to come on board and to be legitimate.
I just want to let our listeners know that we're talking with Dr. Michele Reed. She's not just, I would like to say she's the doctor of late-night parents, but she's everyone's doctor because I'm telling you, from you just sharing that story, you're a trailblazer. You were an early adopter of this, and that's excellent. That's excellent because I kind of think about stuff like that when like you said, a person is ill. They're going to whatever their pharmacist is of choice. They're dropping it off. They're waiting. Either they're waiting and that's if they, I guess they'll have to wait if they don't have the transportation. But if they do have the transportation, they're making two trips, which totally seems so backwards. But I do have a question for you about this, and I guess you would know best because you've been doing this for many, many years. So if one question I received, if I'm receiving a script that has, multiple refills, let's say by default, is it like two refills?
Well, it depends on what your insurance will cover. So nowadays, most insurance plans want you to have a 90-day supply. So that's a 3-month supply of your medication. Right.
My question is, what should I do, or what should a person do? Now, this is, after March 27th, when this has gone live. What should I do if there's a mistake with the quantity? So if I'm just Ted Hicks out there, the e-prescription has been sent through to my pharmacist, and there's only one prescription on there without any refills. I'm just taking that as an example. What should I do as, the person that needs that medication?
Well, I guess first of all, you should probably just contact your doctor just to make sure that there was no error in the prescription. So I'll just say, for instance, you normally take your blood pressure medicine twice a day. But instead, when they submitted it, it's not listed as one tablet twice a day. It's listed as once a day. So technically, you've been shorted 30 pills. So I would just contact your provider just to make sure that there was no error in the amount, or just let them know, I went to the pharmacy gave me this, and this. I mean, because mistakes do happen on either end. But this is also to help to decrease the frequency of error. And at the same time, the pharmacists now do counseling, and they do go over your prescription with you. And I really feel that as the patient, you are your own advocate. Yes. My job is to teach you, because that's what the Latin term doctor means, is to teach. So I am teaching you so you can become your own advocate. So if between the physician or the pharmacy, you have the wrong prescription, you need to say, okay, you know what? I think there's been a mistake or an error on someone's behalf, and I take my medicine twice a day, not once a day.
Right. And I'm sorry, because here's the flip side to this question. So what happens if I've exhausted my prescription and the refills? Will the pharmacy automatically contact the primary care physician? Or, like, how does that work? Or does the patient have to start the cycle over again for that 90-day period?
What normally happens, so if we're talking about someone who's taking medicine because they have high blood pressure, yes, technically they're supposed to be seeing their physician throughout the year. So it's not just a once-a-year thing when you show up. Usually it's every 3 to 4 months. So when you go for your follow-up appointment to see the provider, at that time you should say, okay, I have one refill left. I need another one. Can you send one to the pharmacy now? Because they can send one electronically that would just basically sit there, and when you need it, you can just call the pharmacy and say, okay, please go ahead and fill my other prescription for me, because it usually doesn't take that long. Or the other thing is, if the pharmacy, and it's been a long-standing prescription that you have, the pharmacy will automatically send us an electronic message asking us if we want to refill the prescription for the patient.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. So it is bidirectional in that standpoint too.
That's perfect. Perfect. Hey, I do have some health and wellness questions. I know we're running up against our segment, and I know you're busy, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. So I read an article that was dated back from 2010 that was in Ebony, and I noticed there was a specific person that his name is similar to yours that had some tips on health and wellness and just, doing the right thing. What would be, let's say, your top 3 tips that you would give to someone in regards to health and wellness?
Okay, so is that the episode, the Ebony edition that has President Obama on the inside, but Dr. Reed on it? Is that the one?
I think it does. I think that's the one.
President Obama's on the cover and I'm on the inside. Yes. So, like I was saying earlier, as being a physician who is very big into disease prevention, one of the best things that you can do to take care of yourself is to get adequate amount of sleep. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep is the general norm. That's major. That helps for your body to reset, to relax, slows down the metabolism. The next thing that I would recommend is just to move. Any type of exercise.
Okay.
At least 3 to 4 times a week. If you can do 30 to 45 minutes, that's perfect. I have a good friend of mine. She dances every single day. She dances. Not slow dances, but she dances to fast-paced music, 35, 45 minutes.
Salsa?
The next thing I recommend is don't skip on your meals. Always eat at least 3 to 4 meals per day.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to reveal anything else because I have a forthcoming book that I'm working on. So
really?
I'm not trying to give all of my secrets away yet.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I just really want to quickly, for you to focus on, what used to be called fundamental sports training is now next generation athletics, located on Merrick Road, out here on Long Island. Yes, they focus on basketball. Yes, they focus on some of the core sports. But I heard from a little birdie that there's going to be some adult-orientated classes, health and wellness classes. Could you give us just a sneak peek on them?
Yes. So Next Generation Athletics, formerly known as Fundamental Sports, is going to be starting an adult wellness program. A lot of times we have the parents that drop off the kids, or we have the parents that sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours watching their children. They're sitting there talking. What we're trying to do is to encourage the parents not just to sit and watch your child, but take advantage of having some downtime where you say you don't have enough time to schedule an appointment with yourself to exercise. Here's a perfect opportunity. You're already at a facility. You know your child is in good hands. You can exercise the same time as your child. So we're going to be offering a whole range of courses. We're going to be doing Zumba by Sherry Diaz and Jessica, Turbo Kick, belly dancing, a new program by Lancelot Theobald, which will be called Absolute Fusion, where you're working on strengthening your core, because everyone knows with whatever sport that you do, and even with dancing and walking up the stairs, everything stems from you having a strong core, a strong abdominal area. So that's something that we're going to be working on with Lancelot. Coach Terrell is going to be doing a boot camp. Coach Jackie will be doing yoga, not just for adults, but also for children, because kids need to understand the flexibility, the importance of having flexibility. A lot of times when I go to the schools and I do physicals, half the time kids can barely touch their shins, let alone touch their toes. And these are the ones who are athletes. So this is something that's very important that she is going to be focusing on, the athletes who are children and also the adults. So we should be starting within the next week or two at Next Generation Athletics. We are going to be also incorporating massage therapy. A lot of people think that a massage is just something that's just to relax you. No, there are massages to help to strengthen your bones, your ligaments, to relax your muscles, to relax your ligaments. So everything is just tying together for our wellness program. And we're going to also have a little time where you can experience the classes and to do an introduction so everyone will get to know who the instructors are. And that should be coming, like I said, within the next week or two. And once I know the definitive date and time, I can get back to you, so that way we can mention it on the show and perhaps even have some of the team come on and speak with you too.
That would be perfect. We're talking with Dr. Michele Reed. We're talking about health and wellness with the Next Generation Athletic Facility. It's located in 575 Merrick Avenue. That's in Westbury, New York, 11590. Phone number is 516-546-7722. I do have one bonus question for you, and it's on it's a question that it might come a little bit out of left field, Dr. Michele. It's in regards to depression. Because one thing everyone, not just Americans, but it seems like globally, everyone loves to binge watch TV. Mm-hmm. And there was an article posted in Late Night Parents, does binge watching TV lead to depression? And I'm going to read a quick excerpt from the article. It says, roughly 35% of participants qualify as binge watchers and reported higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression than non-binge watchers. Binge watching is a growing public health concern that needs to be addressed, and that's from various scientists. What's your take on that?
Well, a couple of things. One goes back to what I was talking about when I was mentioning exercise, the importance of exercising. Because when you exercise, your body releases endorphins to make you feel better. That helps to calm you down, to calm your heart rate, just to give you a chance to de-stress. The other thing is when you're watching TV, more times than not, you're by yourself. And if you're binge watching, you're definitely by yourself. And the concern is isolation. You have no one to talk to. You're not interacting with anyone. So therefore, we're increasing the likelihood of you having anxiety and depression. So I encourage you to get out and move. The weather is getting nice. We're going to have the exercise classes at Next Generation Athletics in Westbury on Merrick Avenue. You can take part in the exercises there.
Dr. Michele, I want to give you a round of applause
Thank you.
And I do want to ask you, what are the best ways to find out? I mean, your portfolio is so large. Tell us the best ways to get in contact with you via social media to find out about whether it's your practice, the good work that you're doing at Next Generation Athletics, all the above.
Okay. All righty. So the name of my medical practice is M as in Mary, S as in Sam, Family Medicine Healthcare. We're located, like I said earlier, in Rosedale, Queens, and Garden City, Long Island, so you can look us up that way. The phone number for the office is 516-794-2200. If you're interested in having me as a speaker, the best way to contact me is you can do it through social media, Dr. Michele with one L, middle initial C, last name Reed, R-E-E-D. And my brand page is www.askdrmichele.com, and that's A-S-K, Dr. Michele with one L.com. And thanks to social media, MS Family and Dr. Reed and Next Generation, we're all over the place on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Yes,
and, of course, late-night parents, too.
Yes, we all are, and it's great to, as I mentioned to Scott previously, I said it's great because we're all going to work together because there's one goal out here, and I'm just going to read part of your bio. Committed to using...
but before you do that, I have a question for you. Have you decided which exercise class you're going to sign up for? Is it going to be belly dancing, the core workout, or the boot camp, or the Zumba, or the yoga?
I have another good friend. Oh my goodness, the name leaves me. Rosalind Ross, who does yoga. So I think I'm going to lean towards the Zumba.
All right.
So I'm going to totally go in a totally different direction. But I want to say what's powerful is the words that you have in your Twitter profile. Committed to using my talents to uplift the community. And just with those specific words and with you coming on tonight, that's exactly what you've done. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. You didn't have to do it, but you did, and we're glad you did it. So this segment will be available on various, SoundCloud and everything else that I'll share with you personally, so that will be posted and people will listen to. And hopefully people do come out to NX and people come out to your practice and or just reach out to you on social media. So I want to thank you so much, Dr. Michele.
Thank you very much for inviting me on for Women's History Month.
All right. Take care.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. And that was Dr. Michele Reed, Women's History Month. We're really excited about it. Last week was our first set of guests. We have, we're going to do it this whole month. On Women's History Month. We'll be right back. We're going to play just a real quick promo from our friends at Audible, and then hopefully we'll be back with our next guest.